Good morning, it's Elaine with Elaine's Custom Cards. Today we're going to do a super simple card using the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. There's some beautiful papers in here. And the other side has the silver on it. So today I chose a piece that has this on one side and then the silver leaves on the other. Okay, let's get started with this card. I'll set this here, and I've got all my pieces ready to go. So today we're going to do some embossing. This card is very simple, so let me tell you the sizes. The DSP is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I used the layering rectangle stitch framelits dies for this. This is Whisper White, and I used, let me tell you which ones I used here. Okay, for this, Night of Navy is 5 1/4 by 4, and I cut it. I die cut out of the center the second to the largest die, and for the white Whisper White piece I used the third to the largest. So that's what I used on those. And then I used, this is thick Whisper White. It is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And those should be all our sizes. This piece and this piece are going to go on the inside, and then these on the outside. But the first thing we're going to do is stamping and embossing. I stamped directly on this card, and I used my Stamparatus, so let's get this out of the way. And for this sentiment, I used God's Peace, the Fear Not, for behold I bring you good tidings of great joy. I used this sentiment on the front of the card. And what I did was, the first thing I did was got it to where I thought it looked like center. That looks good. And then I used my embossing buddy to make sure there's no fingerprints on there. And then I used my Versamark. Let's put this underneath so it's a little flatter there. The first thing I did was inked it up with the Versamark. What this does is it helps it to be a little more sticky for when you're going to emboss. And then I took my Night of Navy ink and put Night of Navy ink on there. Okay. And I stamped. And the reason I used my Stamparatus was in case I didn't get a good coverage. And that looks really good. So then I took my clear embossing powder. Wish my desk was bigger, but it's not. So anyway, I took my clear embossing powder and put embossing powder on it. You want to make sure you get some full coverage of that. Tap it off. And this is going to be a little bit loud, but I'm going to emboss. Sorry it's not in the picture. I don't want to blow embossing powder everywhere. It doesn't take much to get it fully embossed. So I usually do the front, and then I go to the back and just kind of heat up the back a little bit. So it should have nice and shiny on the whole thing. Okay, then I'm going to remove this, and I have this one ready. And we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to stamp and emboss the sentiment for the inside. So let's see here. Try to get it in the center. That looks good. So we'll take our Versamark and do the same thing. Versamark and then the blue, Night of Navy. Stamp it like so. Put your embossing powder on it. And this is clear, remember. I forgot to use my embossing buddy, but this is clear, so it won't matter so much. And we'll take our sheet down. That looks good. Okay, that one's done. Now I'm going to clean these off so I don't get ink all over the place. Clean this stamp off. And then we're going to emboss the little tree. Oh, I didn't tell you where that last stamp set came from. Oh, goodness. That stamp set that says, "May the Spirit of Peace gently fill your heart and home," came from Peaceful Boughs. And this has dies to go with it. You purchase them together and you save 10%. So that's where that stamp came from. Okay, I'm going to turn this over because I have this leaf, or this tree, and it's upside down. So what I'm going to do is turn my I don't know what I did with my oh, there it is. Okay, and I want it over here in the corner. So right about there. Looks good. So on this one, close this. We're going to use Balmy Blue on the tree because I didn't want it dark blue. I wanted it a lighter color. So we're going to use Balmy Blue, or the Versamark first. And the Balmy Blue. Stamp it on there. And this tree came from Nature's Beauty. It's this little tree right here. Okay. Got that on there. Put our embossing powder. Our embossing tool. And just emboss that. Okay, that should be all the noisy stuff. That's done. Clean that stamp off so we don't make a mess on ourselves. And then when I'm done, I'll show you what I did with some of the leftover of that paper, because you have just a small piece left over. So let's get this out of the way. Make some room here. use this so I don't spill it. I don't want embossing powder everywhere. Okay, now let's put the card together. Bring this back in so you can see it. Okay, that goes on the inside, so let's go ahead and adhere this piece to this piece. I thought these would make some, you can make quite a few cards pretty quickly with this method. Emboss them all and then just glue them together. See, this is our little frame. It's pretty thin, so just put a really thin line of glue on there because you don't want it to ooze over the edge. Doesn't matter on the inside of the frame, but it does on the outside. So put that on there. And center it on the front of the card. It's pretty delicate. But not too hard to center. A little bit hard to move around because it's there. That looks pretty good. Okay, then you take your Designer Series paper and get a little close to the edge, but not too bad because you want it to adhere to that frame without, of course, oozing over the edge. That on the front. We're almost done with this card. Just kind of move it around so it looks like you've got it fairly centered. Like so. That's your front, and then we just adhere this to the inside. And after this, we only got one more thing that has to be done, and that's the little snowflakes I put on the front. Okay, then I took some of these little snowflakes, and it came from the Snowflake Sequence in the holiday catalog. And I took my glue, and I only want just a little dab, so I squeezed it just a little bit to just get, oh, that's too much. Put too much on there, then it kind of oozes up through the sequins. I know you can use your take-a-pick tool, but, or whatever it's called. I found this just easy for just a few little sequins I was going to put on here. I could use glue dots, but they're not really small enough. I just lost that one. Where did it go? Did it stick to me? Missing. Let's get another one out. There's one. Very tiny. Another dab of glue there. Okay. See if I can get this one to stay. Okay. Where that one disappeared to, but Oh, there it is. Put it up there. Okay. I made, there's 4 sheets of that paper, and I made 4 cards all the same because I really liked the way it looked. And then with some of the leftover pieces, they're not very big and I haven't used them all yet, but you're gonna have this left over, and then I took this little scene right here because it was down on the corner of the card, kind of over here of the piece of paper, and I did these little note cards or whatever. They're really small, but I haven't decided what to do on the inside, whether I'm going to put some of this on the inside or just stamp to and from like little cards for presents. But anyway, got a way to make use of all the pieces of paper that I found. Well, that's your card for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember that the DSP sale that we're having, buy 3 get 1 free, that's in the annual catalog. If you go to my website, ElaineDotson.stampin'.net, it'll show you which packets of paper are included in the sale. None of the paper in the holiday catalog. It's all in the annual catalog that's on sale. I hope you have a blessed day, and please give me a thumbs up and comment if you like this video. And I will try to do some more simple cards that don't take much, just designer series paper, cardstock, and ink, and some maybe embossing powder. You have a blessed day and happy stamping.